Hi YouTube, Darth here. This is CTE Sunday, where I round up all the latest and greatest from the Battlefield community test environment. We're still in the midst of the fall patch testing on the CTE, and DICE is still committing some tweaks to what will become a patch that is mostly about vehicle balance. Today I'll be talking primarily about the MAA and some interesting Battlelog changes, so let's get started. Probably no one will read this title and be upset, as the MAA is getting a nerf specifically to the damage output of its cannons at long range. And I say no one because it seems like everyone made a new topic in the CTE subreddit jumping on the MAA over the course of the last 2 weeks. So what did DICE change exactly? This week both the 20mm and 30mm cannons had their damage fall-off modified and their maximum and minimum damage decreased. Previously, the damage fall-offs for the MAA were set very close to the vehicle at a maximum of 50 meters, and the damage remained relatively consistent even at far distances. The only limiting factor was how many shells the MAA driver could land on a target, which was not necessarily an easy task if the jet pilot played smart. So the 20mm went from a previous maximum of 15 and a minimum of 12.6 per shell to a maximum of 12.6 and a minimum of 4.2. So about a 15% decrease on the close end and a removal of 2/3 of the damage at long range. The fall-off distances also got pushed out substantially, as the maximum value now applies out to 600 meters and the minimum value takes root at 1000 meters. For the 30mm, the previous maximum value of 49 damage and minimum of 42 became 42 and 21 respectively. Again, the 30mm remains the most effective at near distances and fades substantially at long range. That maximum damage will hold out to 700 meters for the 30mm and drop off to the minimum at 1000 meters. Additionally, the amount of damage done to infantry on the ground has been reduced from a 67% modifier to a 57% modifier. Keep in mind that the damage values I was quoting earlier for the shells does not equate to percentage of damage done on jets and helicopters. Jets and helicopters each have 500 hit points, except for the transport, which has significantly more. A 42 damage shell on a jet would do roughly 8.4 damage. The 4.2 damage shell would do less than 1% damage. So what does this change mean? I had 3 thoughts on this specific change. First, experienced jet pilots that loiter at high altitude are going to be pretty much untouchable. Second, in combination with the active radar missile nerf from a few weeks ago, this pretty well cripples the ability of base camping MAA to be effective on maps like Goldenwood and Firestorm. And third, this change won't go far enough for some folks. Now the cannons did get a nerf across the board, but at the same time, 600 and 700 meters is still a very long distance. The effect really won't be felt except at extreme distances, where the natural spread of the cannon makes it very difficult to hit fast-moving targets anyways. Additionally, the lethality of anti-aircraft missiles are going way up in this patch, in most circumstances removing 1 missile from the required volley to kill an aircraft. So is the mobile anti-aircraft balanced? Time will tell, but even today, I don't think it's the unstoppable scourge of the battlefield that some folks make it out to be. A few weeks back, I asked my viewers what they thought made a skilled player. This was spurred from a question from Battlelog developer Indigoud, who asked players to weigh in on the CTE subreddit. Well, that discussion has borne fruit, and Battlelog has changed the way it tracks skill. Rather than a flat number, it is now a graphical representation of the playstyle of your soldiering. Apparently on the CTE, I am all about score whoring, healing, and ammo. While this is interesting information to know, I'm not sure it's a great way to compare 2 soldiers to one another. Particularly, I'd be curious to know how we'd ever use a system like this for the purposes of matchmaking. When the Battlefront beta comes along this week, it'll be interesting to see what their supposed matchmaking system is delivering. As with every week, there were a few other small changes. This week the attack helicopter had its rocket pod ranges reduced to 750 meters, there were continuing polish tweaks to Operation Outbreak, the vehicle smokescreen changes from previous weeks unfortunately had to be reverted, and there were some smaller fixes to various exploits. Overall, it seems like development on what will be the fall patch is fast approaching a conclusion, and hopefully it will be a short while until the changes are sent off for console certification. When we get closer to an actual patch day, I'll put up a more comprehensive video with all the changes in the fall patch. In the meantime, don't forget to check out the Star Wars Battlefront beta that drops this week on Thursday the 8th and runs through the weekend. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time, YouTube.